Welcome to what Dave and I are going to call a 12 Heids special. We've actually just spent the last half hour discussing how the 12 Heids return to public viewing. We've gone this way and gone that way, and we decided to do it as a special because of the subject that's going to be involved. Today I read an article in the Sunday Mail on Scotland about the funds that were ring-fenced, an amount of £600,000. I've always seen that as something that has huge implications, depending on what the truth actually is. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Based on the information that Dave has given me, I now know to watch a programme on television, probably around 6:30 on Tuesday. And I'm going to learn information from that. Now, if it's journalistically and legally channeled, I'm not sure how much I'm going to learn from that programme. But Dave and I have agreed to do this as a 12 Heids special where, unusually perhaps, Dave is going to be predominant in what he's producing. The 12 Heids on Independence Live will come back. We've not gone away, we told you that. But for now, over to you, Dave.
Good evening, freedom fighters. Over the last wee while, you have been aware, certainly if you're on social media, and more recently if you're reading the press, that there's a question about the missing £600,000. Now, people have got their own ideas. Some of us are absolutely sure that there's been a case that's happened, and others are saying, oh, you're just believing the unionist media. Now, the problem is, the unionist media have only just got involved over the last sort of 10 days. They haven't said very much. And although they're all putting these stories out, I mean, you're getting them in the Times, you're getting them in the Telegraph, you're getting them in the Mail, you're getting the Sunday Mail. It's everywhere now. We're not trying to back the SNP. They've caught on very, very late to something that the pro-independence bloggers have been working on for a while. And that is basically what happened to this missing £600,000. Now, you'll be aware that Nicola Sturgeon was on the TV talking to Colin from STV.
Money hasn't gone missing. All money goes through the SNP accounts independently and fully audited. We don't hold separate accounts. We're under no legal requirement to do that. Our accounts are managed on a cash flow basis, but every penny we raise to support the campaign for independence will be spent on the campaign for independence.
I've been contacted by a lot of people who have said to me, well, look, show us the proof, show us the proof. And the things, I'm not a policeman. But I know the police are investigating because I know a lot of people they've contacted. In fact, I've actually put them in touch with some people. Because at the end of the day, what's happened here is the Yes movement have been ripped off. SNP members have been ripped off. We handed over money on the promise from somebody who was supposed to be an impeccable source to hand over money for an independence referendum. And that money was spent to get the SNP elected in 2017. And they've been robbing Peter to pay Paul ever since. Or should I say, Peter's been robbing everyone. Anyway, what I have here are some documents that I'm going to show you that will prove that the SNP have been taking money under false pretenses over 3 years to build a PONZI scheme, which is illegal. It's completely illegal. Bernie Madoff went to jail for God knows how long for it. So anyway, I'm going to give you the evidence and you can decide for yourself. To start off with, I have an email from a guy called Jim Henderson. Jim Henderson is or was, I don't know if he still is, the SNP's fundraising manager. It was his job to basically raise funds. And he was responsible for taking money in and through campaigns. This email was sent out to someone who made a donation on the 29th of March 2017. Thank you for your recent donation, which will be ring-fenced for the future independence referendum. Your decision with many other members and supporters to make a monthly contribution, remember, this is now a one-off payment, will mean that we'll be able to build up a sizable war chest to fight the campaign when the time comes. Right, mark the date there, the 29th of April 2017. Now, I'm going to come back to this person shortly, but I want to go somewhere else first. This is Jim Henderson. Right, that's one name to remember, SNP fundraising manager. And then I want to go to this. This is dated March 2020. And it's a letter from Ian McCann. Ian McCann, Enforcement Officer of the SNP. Hi, redacted. I've spoken to our fundraiser about this. If there was an issue with cancelling the direct debit, but payment continued to be taken after that, then we can look at that matter. And if a payment was taken after we received instruction for the bank, that should be recoverable. But that's normal, because if that happens with a bank, the bank are responsible for it. It's the bank that repay you the money. But it goes on. However, your other donations are in a ring-fenced fund to fight the next referendum, whenever we're in a position to call that. As you'll be aware, the Scottish Parliament has passed enacting legislation to allow that to go ahead as soon as Westminster passes the Section 30 order. We're not in a position to refund these monies. Best wishes, Ian McCann, Enforcement Officer and Murrells number 2. So that's basically a 3-year period where people have been paying direct debits, monthly money into this ring-fenced fund. And as I say, it's mentioned as ring-fenced in March 2017, and it's mentioned as ring-fenced in March 2020. Right, so we'll go back to the first one again. Anyway, basically, I was contacted by the person who did the first one some time ago, and he says, well, look, she says, I'll pay this and I can't get my money back. They won't let me back. So I said, well, look, call them and tell them there's a police investigation going on, because at that time I knew that a police investigation had been started. So basically, I said to him, contact them, send them all the information that you've got, and see if you any chance of getting them back. So basically, what he did was he wrote this letter to Jim Henderson again. But this letter was sent on the 3rd of April 2021. Dear Mr. Henderson, in light of recent information spreading across the internet regarding ring-fenced independence fund and the lack of any attempt to bring forward an independence referendum, I'm instructing you to return the money that I forwarded to you in 2017. Please return the funds to the following account, etc., etc. And so that was the 3rd of April 2021. 6 weeks later, absolutely no response, not a single thing back. On the 15th of May 2021, he sent this after getting no response. Dear Mr. Henderson, on the 3rd of April 2021, I asked you to return monies paid into the ring-fenced independence fund. I failed to receive a response. Please note that if you fail to respond within the next 7 days or return monies paid, I'll report you to the police for theft or fraud. Many thanks. The following day, he got this response. Redacted. Jim Henderson has forwarded me your email. The National Treasurer, who was Doug Chapman at the time, has approved your refund of the bank transfer of £40 will be processed today. Kind regards, Peter Murrell. Now, at the end of the day, so we've got all these things that the money is in a ring fence fund. We have that in the words of Jim Henderson on numerous emails. We also have it from Ian McCann only a year ago. And now they're talking about refunding money, and it's okay by the National Treasurer. 2 days later, this person had their £40 returned. And as soon as they did, we checked where it had come from. And it came from the main SNP account, because we were hoping we would be able to trace the ring-fenced account when we got the bank details. It wasn't, it was the main SNP account. So right away, I contacted Stuart Campbell for Wings and said, by the way, they've basically just admitted that they don't have a ring-fenced account. But this was before Nicola did her video. So we'll go back to that shortly.
Money hasn't gone missing. All money goes through the SNP accounts, independently and fully audited. We don't hold separate accounts. We're under no legal requirement to do that. Our accounts are managed on a cash flow basis. But
so you have this 3-year period where everybody's talking about the ring-fenced account, but then all of a sudden, as soon as you mention, I'm going to report you to the police, when there's a police investigation going on, because it's been in the papers for the last couple of weeks since Wings broke it, then all of a sudden they want to repay money, and they've not just paid it to that one person. They've been paying it all over. There are people all over social media saying, I've got my money back. Somebody said they didn't even ask what I sent. They asked for my card details and I couldn't find my card, so I just left it, and the money turned up 2 days later anyway. That's what happened. And as I say, these documents are here. They're redacted. They don't identify anyone, but I've got the names. I've got the dates. And these are real people, and we've got copies of bank transfers for the SNP, but not from a ring-fenced account. So as the news started to, I shouldn't say the word news, but as the news started to tighten on this particular episode, then the pressure was building over the last couple of weeks as the mainstream media have suddenly now thought, oh, there's a story here, in spite of the fact that they've ignored it for months. 18 months in the case since Wings first broke it, in spite of the Daily Mail saying today that they're leading the pack. Yeah, they're only 18 months late. So basically we have that. We have 3 people at the head of the SNP who are dealing with funds have all said that this is ring-fenced. And then you have the party leader saying to Colin Mackay on STV that there is no ring-fenced account. Oh, sorry, she didn't use those exact words. She used the words, the SNP doesn't have separate accounts. The SNP accounts are run on a cash flow basis. Now, at the end of the day, that basically means whatever comes in, you pay whatever you've got to go out with the money that comes in. And if that is the case, then that agrees with the accounts that were lodged with the Electoral Commission in 2019, saying that there was only £90,000 in the bank, because they used the ring-fence money to repay Colin Weir, who asked for his £500,000 back, and then didn't renew his loan because he wasn't happy with what was happening with the speed for going for independence. And that's what's happened. So, and taking it that way, then basically 3 of the head people in the SNP have committed fraud. Now, you say, well, okay, the police should investigate that. The police are investigating it. The problem is that we've been telling people this has been happening for over a year, and people are not paying any attention. And now that they see that people are paying attention, that the press are paying attention, that police are paying attention, they are now saying, oh, okay, show us the proof. Well, I've just showed you the proof. I've just showed you the proof. That is enough there to put in front of a jury. And the police are investigating it now. And as far as I know, they're now talking to people who were responsible for stuff in the SNP, for finance stuff. I'm not going to mention any names here, but as I say, it's being done, or it's about to be done. There's a programme, you may just have watched it, on or is it if we put this out before Tuesday night? Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. The BBC are going to be doing a bit on this. And it's not the BBC are going to attack the SNP. The BBC are going to report facts that actually happened that we can prove. The same facts that the police will need to put in front of a jury. Facts to prove that there's been pockling going on by some people in the SNP. And this is not an SNP. If you're an SNP member, if you're a yeser that paid money on this, you've been done by a crook who just happens to be in one of the highest paying jobs in the SNP. He's not even been in an elected position. He's an employee and he can be sacked for that. And as soon as the police investigation starts, he will have to resign, or he will at least have to stand aside while the investigation's going on, because you cannot leave a poacher looking after the game when he's been investigated for stealing it. So like this is all going to happen, and there's always a possibility. If it does, maybe the SNP will be able to clean its act up and then start going forward again. But at the moment, it's been bled to death by some crooks at the top of it. That's all I'm doing.
Can I come in at this point? One, if you have what you're suggesting is factual proof, you going to pass that to the police at all?
Absolutely. Basically, anything at all we can do to help this investigation go forward. And to make sure, to be perfectly honest, that it doesn't get swept under the carpet. Because I tell you, that some people in the SNP have got a lot of power to sweep stuff under the carpet. They already have. We know about that. But as I say, this is not about the SNP. It's about some crooks, and we're going to pass it on. And hopefully, they will face justice for what they've done. And hopefully they'll not get back into the SNP afterwards, and maybe get some decent people in charge of the party.
Let me try, and I'm not going to try and balance anything, Dave. But let me say we treated this as a special, and we're going to put it out on YouTube under your control with your evidence being shown to people. The implications of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth are very, very, very profound. But the truth in matters has to come out eventually. And from my part, not having made any contribution, I'm well aware of the fact that there will be a truth somewhere. It's going to cause considerable heartache. It's going to cause considerable number of people to reject, even if the proof is presented and it comes out. Obviously, those involved in the higher echelons of the SNP will have every right to challenge everything that's being said against them, or in terms of the documentation and the proof. But there will come a point where it goes out with everyone's control when the police are involved.
Yep.
I said at the beginning that the 12 Heids would return in a different way. It'll be on probably Independence Live. And what I'm hoping to do from some of the things, and Dave knows this, it's what we spent half an hour discussing beforehand. I'm going to try and do certain things which hopefully will keep the yes movement moving forward despite everything else that's going on. I think, Dave, you attended a rally yesterday in Kirkcaldy where you saw people of very, very different persuasions, some Alapa, some staunch SNP, sitting down together and talking about anything other than politics. And I've always made the comment that I'm not a member of a political party. And everything we've seen over the last few months convinces me why that is going to remain the case. Ultimately, and I'll finish in this, ultimately, the independence of Scotland will happen when the sovereign people of Scotland vote in sufficient numbers to achieve that independence. It will not be top down. Any politician that tries to lead to independence is utterly reliant on the sovereign people of Scotland, either to follow that lead or to take up the lead themselves. I'm hoping, folks, after you've watched and listened to Dave and the documents he's going to produce, remember, Scotland depends on the sovereign people, irrespective of all our particular opinions. Keep the faith. That's me, Dave.
Okay, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. As I say, this has been a little bit different for normal, but as I say, I've been asked so much to produce this stuff because I've been saying a lot, as you know. I've been asked to produce it, so this is some of it. There's an awful lot more, but this basically ties up 3 years, and it ties up to the people who are basically employed at the top of the SNP. This has got nothing at all to do with Nicola Sturgeon. Nicola Sturgeon has been honest, as far as I know, in our interview with the STV. But as I say, that honesty has basically just showed the others to have done what they've done, which we knew anyway. But as I say, for her to finally have actually said it on film. And now, as I say, we probably won't be able to talk about it soon. As soon as the investigation goes on, and it becomes a proper investigation, we'll no longer be able to talk about it. So we're getting this out.
Which is why we've done this programme.
Yeah.
Basically, when 3 members are elected to form an audit committee and resign, the question is why. When a treasurer is appointed by the members of the SNP and chooses to resign, the question is why. We need answers, whatever those answers are. That's why we've done this programme, folks. For that reason, let's find out the answers. Everyone deserves the answer.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on a normal 12 Heids next week, when Mike's going to be talking about all sorts of things. And I'm going to be sitting listening intently because I don't understand most of them. Talk to you later.
Bye, everyone.